Alright, what is up YouTube? HTJ here, and I'm coming at you guys because I have Datascape ready for you guys. I know it's been a minute, things happen, and I wanted to get you guys some solid deck profiles going. So, Datascape is one that I was taking a look at. I have a very toolbox variation of this. It's very just straightforward combo, like basic combo of Datascape, and then you just, you toolbox your way through it. There's a lot of things that can easily be changed. There's some things that I do like about the archetype, and I'll go into it a little more with a lot of particular cards. So, just without further ado, let's actually take a look at it. So, I'm running 3 copies of Datascape Lady, 2 copies of Datascape Princess, 2 copies of Datascape Shy, 2 copies of Datascape Savage, 2 copies of Datascape Rabbit, 2 copies of Datascape Quillin, 3 copies of Psychic Tracker, and 3 copies of Psychic Wheeler, and then 3 copies of Ash Blossom Joyous Spring. Then going on to the spells, we got 3 copies of Datascape Capital, 3 copies of Datascape Gate Long, 3 copies of Pot of Desires, 1 Upstart, 1 Monster Reborn, 1 Intelligence. Then we had 3 copies of Datascape Xiao Kui for the trap cards, and then 3 copies of Infinity Impermanence. Then for your extra deck, 2 copies of Datascape Fox, 2 copies of Datascape Beast, 2 copies of Hyper Psychic Riser, 2 copies of Datascape Phoenix, 2 copies of Datascape Dragon, 2 copies of Datascape Shell, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Silver. So, the thing with the Datascape is their unique abilities. At a cost of only summoning monsters for the rest of the turn that are level 3 or rank 3 and higher, you're able to summon these monsters simply by targeting a card on your field, a Datascape card on your field, and sending it to the graveyard that is control. So, a lot of easy special summons here. There's a lot of combinations between being a Germ and a Psychic, and the Datascape take advantage of it. Now, the only reason why a lot of the numbers seem a lot higher than some is only because Pot of Desires. Because this archetype doesn't have its own generic draw. It probably Pot of Desires or Pot of Extravagance, just on how those who are going to play it want to take the builds themselves. Now, some great things about this is that you have a lot of cards that have the ability to special summon other cards, search for cards, and take advantage of cards being in the graveyard to do other effects. Datascape Lady can search your deck based on the card that isn't being sent to graveyard. So you have an option between Monster Spell and Trap, and then she'll take the targeted card, send it to the grave, special summon yourself, then add that Datascape card that isn't when she's sent to the graveyard type back to your hand. So you can add a monster or a spell if it's a trap. You can add a trap or a spell if it's a monster. You can add a monster or a trap card if it's a spell card. So you get the picture there. You have Datascape Princess. She can be special summoned, but she has to summon monsters that are level 3 or higher. I mean, you only special summon the monsters that are 3 or higher in rank or level. And then also, in addition to that, she can target any banished card and send it back into the deck. So you have some synergy there. You have some, not synergy there, but you have some recovery there. You have the ability to retrieve from graveyard thanks to Shy. You have Savage, who can summon a monster from your graveyard other than himself. You have Datascape Rabbit, who can special summon herself if you control no monsters, or you control a Psychic and or your monster. I'm sorry, it's not special summon, it's normal summon without tripling. And when she does such, she's a tuner. So we got some help there. Then we have Datascape Quillong, who has the ability to add a card with a different type to your graveyard from your deck when it's summoned. Yeah, that's not too bad. Then we have the Psychic Wheeler and Tracker, because they're level 3 monsters here. These two can easily summon themselves. When using Synchro Material, Tracker can give your Synchro monster an additional 600 attack. And then when Wheeler is used, the ability to target a monster on the field with less attack than the synchro monster. And send it to the grave. Then we have the Ash Blossom Joyous Spring for hand control. If you don't, if you don't just want to run Ash Blossom, you can reduce the numbers of cards, and switch them out. Because another option is Ghost Ogre and Winter Cherries. If you want to play the excess um, Talker combo, you can throw in some Effect Veilers, Celine, and the extra deck, and then just go from there. Then let's talk about the spells. I did already mention it, but Pot of Desires, just some draw power if it's needed. Especially because this archetype doesn't have its own generic draw. I did throw a lot of multiples in here just in case I needed specific cards. The only downside is Italy's at 1 for obvious reasons, at 1 for obvious reasons, and Monster Reborn is at 1 for obvious reasons. And because of how power crept these cards will be, if they were at multiples, you do run the risk of banishing, if not one, but all 3 of these cards. But the Datascape, how they work, you'll be perfectly fine in terms of them. You just want to get the additional draw and get it out of the way. Datascape, Long, and this works in combination with the spell and trap that are the Datascape gates. If you control 2 or more, your monster will gain 200 attack. Okay. 3 or more, you can send 3 cards from top of your deck to grave, which that can help in some cases because you do have a lot of cards that can recover. You have a lot of cards that can be shuffled back into the deck. You have a lot of cards that can be banished to special summon other monsters or to recover monsters from the graveyard. So that's not a downside there. And then you have the ability to special summon up to 4 Datascape monsters from your extra deck with different names. Now, that's only going to occur if you have the 4 or more. Now, can it be pulled off? I'm sure it can. But this is a card that, in most part, it has archetype's Foolish Burial effect. It does require the Datascape gates to be in play, but I think you can work around it, if anything. If not anything, you got additional 200 push, or you have the Send to the Grave, and then that can help trigger some of the additional setup a lot of the other cards have. Now, for the Datascape Gate cards, we do have Quill Long, and we also talked about Zhao Quinn. Zhao Quinn can target a card on the field while shuffling 2 your banished Datascape cards with different names back into your deck. You can destroy that target. Then Quill Long can banish 1 Datascape card from graveyard, target a face-up monster on the field, and negate its effects until the end of the turn. So even if it leaves the field, then you can banish it from the graveyard to add a Datascape monster from your deck to your hand, then send a card from your deck to your hand. While the optional effect of this card is that when you can banish this card from the graveyard and target a Datascape monster control, then either increase or decrease that monster's level or rank by 3. So you have that options there with the increase decrease to help synchro or exceed. Then you have the remove to shuffle back in the deck to banish a no not banish a card, to destroy a card, and then you have this Datascape, the spell, which allows you to um, banish, but then send a card to then negate the effects of a card on the field. So you got a foolish Phoenix Chain, you got some recovery with a destroy in both the Datascape gates, and luckily if you can get enough on the field, maybe you can get that final effect off. It is a risk versus reward situation, but these 2 on their own are really good. And then the Upside Goblin, Draw Power, the Monster Reborn, and the E-Telly are for the extended plays, and then the Infinity Impervience. If you aren't running Veilers, this is just an additional negate for a lot of situations, especially if you're not going first. If you're going second, this would be a great extension. Now, we move on from there. Let's talk about the extra deck. We have Fox. So Fox has two unique abilities that can use once a turn. And then also, it has its own ability where it is a walking Macros Cosmos. Anything that would be something from the field is sent to the grave, is banished instead. Now, while it's on the field, once a turn, when your monster declares an attack, you can return a banished monster to your grave, and then during the main phase, Except for the turn this card is sent to the graveyard, you banish 2 your other monsters with different original types and attributes from your graveyard and it summon this card. So it can freely summon itself. Um, it's just a high level beat. It's a high level beating monster. It's macrocosmos, and then it can return banished monsters to your grave. I don't know if that how that works with its own effects, because I don't know. I don't know if it works with its effect. I guess it would send the card to the graveyard. It won't contradict its own ability. So, if anything, I mean, you got a free level 9 18 attacker, and with Tuner acting as Tuner situation here, you're really much set. I mean, at that point, you even got E-Telling. Like I say, you can throw in some Psychic Tuners and then go crazy. You have Beasts. Beasts can't be destroyed by battle card effect while you have monsters in grave. You have 2 or more monsters with the same original type and attribute in your graveyard that don't share the same name. Then you can banish 2 monsters with the same original type and attribute, but different names. Target a card on the field and send it to the graveyard. So a bit of removal on a 2400 level 6 monster. Not anything, I mean, really can't be sure about a card effect. So that's never going to be too hard. And there are a lot of monsters with the same type and attribute in different names, so that helps there. I want to put in a little bit of stall because I did see this card floating around. This is the Hyper Psychic Riser. So monsters with less attack than this card can attack. Then also, neither player can activate cards. I mean, the effects of face-up monsters on the field that have more attacks than this card. So it sounds like a pretty big of a stalemate. But what you're supposed to do with this monster is you're supposed to take Wheeler and Tracker and make it, and then that way this monster has at least 2600 attack, and most things can't run over it or try to destroy it. So you got some use there. You got Phoenix. Phoenix can special summon itself. No, it's can summon 2 Datascape monsters from your deck with the same type and attribute as each other when it leaves the field. While it's on the field, you can detach material from it. The target to face a card your opponent controls, and 1 card is in either graveyard, then you can banish them. So you got some removal there. Which I believe is on the 2606. And it's not hard to make this because you have these 2, you have this, you got the help to make it. Speaking of help making things, you got Dragon, who has this material. It can't be your opponent can't target it with card effects. Your opponent's monster effects that activate with the attribute that isn't one on the field. You can attach material from this card to negate its activation. So you got some negate on this. Then we have another defensive wall in the force of Shell. Shell can detach a material from itself and target a face-up monster, and it can't destroy a battle card effect. No, it can't destroy a battle until the end of your opponent's turn. And it has damage cal when it battles a monster. You have 2 or more monsters with the same attribute and type in your graveyard. You can manage that card. So kind of a little play off of Zen Mighty. Because Zen Mighty used to be a really good rank 3 with a somewhat similar defensive effect. Like if it was to die, it attached the material, then it was able to blow up something dirty in the face. This is just saying why I have monsters the same attribute type. I'm not going to lose out the battle, and I'm not going to lose out while I have the material, attached material. Make sure the face of the card can't destroy the battle, and then at the end of the turn, till the end of the turn, and then at the damage count, I can banish something. That helps. And then I got Unicorn, Phoenix, and Cerberus just as some more additional backup. Cerberus to remove monsters, Phoenix to remove spells and traps, and then Unicorn to balance stuff. So I hope this is enough for you guys. Don't worry, I'll have some more additional stuff coming in the future, and I hope you guys do enjoy the Datascape. And hopefully we get some more Datascape cards, because I think it's a really solid archetype. I'll probably have some more solid setup to it. So let me know what you guys think about the Datascape, how you feel about the Datascape as a deck, and more in the comment section below. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you guys can be notified of when I do upload more videos. Thanks everybody for watching, and I'll catch you all next time. HTJ signing out. Take care.